Hey everybody, welcome back to Play the Game HQ. I'm Daniel, this is Allison, and this is Snakes of Wrath from Young Jerks, who helped sponsor this video. This is an exclusively two-player tile-laying game. Tagline, very appropriate, play a friend, make an enemy. It is on Kickstarter now. We will leave links below to where you can find that. It's a Cutthroat, two-player tile-laying game.
I mean, the whole make an enemy is something, I mean, not that I've thrown any tiles or anything.
Not thrown, you slid. They didn't leave the table, but they left where they were.
It's because children were watching. You really frustrated me. You stole my snake.
That's the point of the game.
Yeah.
Would you like to read the flavor
Yes.
text?
Okay, so play with a friend, make an enemy, Snakes of Wrath. So you're building, healing, stabbing, and stealing. Play your tiles to command your slithering army. Lay traps or injure your enemy to gain the advantage. Strike when the time is right and steal their snakes. Flip tiles, absorb it into your own unholy serpentine abomination.
Flip tiles like flip them on the table, not like flipping the table, flip tiles.
I mean, I've tried.
That's how the first game we played ended, was Allison.
No, I won the first
No,
game
you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yes, I did.
Anyway, I have them logged.
No, you don't. He did not log our first game. Anyway, so if you've played Hive, that's another tile laying. It's got these acrylic tiles. Acrylic? Yeah, these are acrylic, right? Am I thinking of the right terminology?
They're like domino tiles.
Yeah. So they have that tile feel where so you're laying, they have that nice.
Yes,
but
very
Hive
high quality
has
production.
that. So you've got those two-player of like Hive, and then you've got the, I think, Othello. Because you're stealing and flipping the colors.
Yeah.
You're not doing that every time, but anytime you have the opportunity to steal, you do. And so when you flip them over, they turn to the other color and you steal that whole line of snake to do that.
It is reminiscent of games like Hive. It has, I can see where the Othello comes from, but it is very unique in its own right. It's its own game. It's not it feels very unique, but it feels like it falls into a genre of some classic two-player games that have been around for a long time. Like it
feels like it's always
fits
been.
into that really well. Yes. So during the game, you are going to be playing your snake tiles and trying to build your snakes. You build a snake by adding it onto a snake of your color or onto a head. So I could take this tile right here and add it to this snake and make a new one, or I can come over here and I can add it to that one and extend this snake right here.
Now the goal of the game is to close off all the ends of the snake and claim it, because you're wanting to have 13 points. That's the end of the game, 13 points or more. This snake right here was his winning snake, and we stole it back and forth a few times. So when you close off a snake, so like say this one here, you've got the snake head and it goes all the way up here. It was injured a few times, but if I went ahead and stuck this one here, I would then score just the body of the snake, not the head. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to add to. Now I have this one here, but I didn't do that very well this last time.
Let's not confuse people and think that this was closer than it was.
I mean, I had a lot of blue out there.
You did. They were just very open and not closed and not scored.
Yes, well, we did injure
Final
each other.
score was 13-3. So the point of the game, as Allison
Was it really
said,
just 3?
Yeah, it was just 3.
It was 4.
Oh yeah, because of Todd.
I had Todd.
This is Todd. Todd just exists, and he gets
cute.
1 point for existing. So whoever has Todd gets a point for having Todd out there if you draw him. Now, the game, on your turn of a game of Snakes of Wrath, you are going to be placing one tile, redraw from the bag. Very nice, high quality, like legitimately quality bag. One thing Allison pointed out that is really well designed about this bag, if you have played games with the bag before, is the whole box fits in the bag. So when you are trying to pour the tiles from the box into the bag, you're not spilling them all over the table. Little thing, but if that bag was half that size, it would still work functionally for the game, but would be much more frustrating trying to get them in there.
So it has that shelf presence of like the artistic design.
It's beautifully
really
designed.
Like, but then also it has this bag, so it's so easy to just keep out on the table, to just easy grab and stuff like that. So I really like that. You stick it in your purse, stick it in the car.
So during the game, you are going to be playing a tile, drawing from the bag, and adding a tile back to your tray. You have 7 tiles at a time, and you have these privacy screens. We have these laid down flat so you can see them, but you would have them set up like this so the other player can't see what you're doing. Now, as we said before, you add to your snake and you build your snake simply by adding a tile to a snake that's already your color or to a head. So I could put that one there, I could add that one there. And these snakes have lots of forks. They're weird snakes that have multiple heads, lots of forked bodies,
heads.
all kinds of things. So you can either build long snakes or you can fork off and try and kind of create more like pointier, heavier, worth more point snakes.
Oh, that's where you're going.
Yeah,
like,
that's where I was going. I don't know. My brain got there eventually. You can create snakes that have more points by creating more forks, but that creates more opportunities to steal. You can steal a snake by taking a snake of your color and connecting it to a snake of the other color. So this happened right here. We'll set this back up for you. I'm going to move these so you can see past them so they're not in the way. This was an injury. We'll talk about injuries in a minute. But Allison had this right here. We had this set up. It was not fully like this, so it was not as obvious of a move. But I was able to connect my snake to Allison's snake, existing snake, to Allison's existing snake, and I stole that. I think I actually stole more. I think it was farther over, and I stole 3 tiles. But that's all you do to steal. You connect a snake of your color to an open end on a snake of another player's color. Or if, let's say, this tile is right here, ignore that this doesn't match up there. But if there was a tile right here, Allison could play a blue head or a blue turn right there and connect an unused head to my snake, and she would steal this entire snake. Again, that's not legal because this was in the way. But you can do it. You can connect either an unclaimed head to another body, or you can connect an existing snake of yours to the other player's snake, and that's how you steal. And it's really, you can also on your turn, you can go rogue, which was, there was an opportunity there that Allison missed that would have won the game for her. But I had this right here. When you go rogue, you play a tile that's not connected to anything, but it's also not blocking anything. So in this situation right here, there was an opportunity to put a snake head right there. And if I
had that one.
Yeah, she had that one, and she also had these vertical pieces, which are hard to come by.
I got a lot of those this last
game.
game.
I didn't. And that is one thing that I really like about this game. There are tons of different pieces and tons of different shapes. So there really is every game is different because it's not like there's just straight pieces and turns. There's forks, there's X's, there's crosses, there's so many different pieces. So if Allison had set this up right here and I didn't have the piece to go there, she could have stolen my entire snake by connecting an unclaimed head to my snake body, and she would have then won the game. This snake, did you know this was worth 13 points in one snake?
Yeah. I think I noticed it because I'd healed this one because I was growing this one, and I healed that, and I realized I should have been focusing on that snake. We had stolen back and forth so many times, so I had these really nice size ones that if I had closed them both off, I would have won the game easy. Yeah. But he had this easy snake going with his 13 points.
Now, do you want to talk about the stabby bits?
Okay, so this one right here is stabbed. I sliced and diced his red snake right here. We did that a few times. You can see where it's stacked up this high, that means that we have healed them. So this one right here is not healed. The only way he can heal that, or even add to it, you cannot add on to a snake that has an injury. So in order to continue on to this snake here, he would have had to have this piece right here in red to then heal that. Then he can continue on. Now, if for some reason I had pieces to connect these from this head, this would have all flipped over and that injury would have then been mine.
Yes,
I would have had to take care of it, but I would have to have connected that to another head.
Right.
And then in order to count the points, I would have had to heal that injury.
Right.
So we can go back and forth.
Yeah, so injuring is a great way to block people from doing a move, hoping they don't have the piece to immediately heal it back. But even if they do, it's going to delay them at least a turn, or they're going to have to spend a turn because, like Allison said, once a snake is injured, you can't count it. So if it's injured and complete, then you can't count it. That would only happen from stealing because you can't complete a snake until it's healed.
Right.
And you also can't injure a snake that is complete. So once you finish your snake, there's no risk of it being injured and then having to fix it to get those points back. But you can steal snakes that are injured, and then you're responsible for the injury. Now, these black pieces are armored pieces. Any piece that has the black on it, like there or like there, those are armored. Yeah, those simply cannot be injured. They're immune to injury. Again, going back to how much variety there is in the game, I think it was like 5 or 6 games in before I realized there was an injury for the forked piece.
Yeah, and I should have done that.
And that popped up way into it. So there's a ton of tiles. Does it say there's 90 tiles?
There's 90 tiles, and because it is the draw of the bag, say you have you can only have 7. You took my piece.
Oh, sorry.
That was mine.
Sorry.
So you only have 7 tiles, but there's a lot of heads in there. So if say you draw like all heads and maybe a couple injuries.
It's happened a couple times.
It has. There is the opportunity to, instead of playing your turn, you can just be like, yo, I can't do this. So you just dump them all back in the bag and you draw 7 and then it's the next player's turn. I've done that a couple times just because it's like, I really have no option. And then also, did you talk about adding, you cannot add to a snake that's not connected to a head. So like, if this is me, which it is me, it's blue, Daniel couldn't then add this to claim
right,
it.
You can't.
It would have had to have been connected to a head. So that was another reason. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to take your snake.
And you also can't cap somebody else's snake. So you can't add a healthy piece to another person's snake. So you couldn't do that in order to lock that in at 2 points. Also, you have to have at least 2 body pieces or body sections in order to score it and to end it. So you can't.
Scored snake has to equal at least 2.
Yeah, so you can't just be making one-offs and protecting yourself that way.
So for a 2-player game that is so accessible, there's a lot of variety in just this simple tile laying game. We love 2-player games. We really search them out, especially high-quality component games like this. That's just like nice to have out on the table. Nice. This one.
Yeah, and because of all the different pieces, because of all the different pieces, we've had some where we had a snake just go off. We didn't get a lot of forks, so it was just long, windy, but single. Straight snakes. This was pretty compact. There were a lot of forks. We drew a lot of these tees this time, but every game we've played has been a little bit different because again, there are 90 different pieces in the bag versus a lot of tile laying games like this are going to have 30 or 40 and it's going to be a pretty compact game.
And speaking of how many, like we've played it multiple times, we've had this game for 3 days.
Yeah, no, we need to keep like to facts.
Okay, we're going to do
because this is a sponsored video, so we're not supposed to share opinions. So facts. In the 2 days that we have had this game.
We've had it for 3.
We've had it 3. Sorry. We've had it in the 3 days that we have had this game. We've played it at least 15 times.
At least. Yes. And the boys, I know that they've played it when I wasn't. It was just sitting on the table. They've played it a lot, so it's probably been closer to 20.
And we didn't need that in order to be comfortable previewing this game. We could have done that after 3. The reason we have played it so much is because it's a really solid game. Like it's the boys have asked to play. They have played together. Jared and Peyton are 9 and 13. Totally accessible for younger players. Peyton beat me like 14-3 our first game. He annihilated me. And not because I was going easy on him. He just
don't go easy on our kids anymore.
It is a game that there's enough luck and enough randomness to where you're drawing and drawing tiles. Again, so many tiles that it's very random as to what you're going to get. And there's a lot of strategy to how you play those tiles, but it evens it out so that players don't like if you were playing with the same set of tiles, then there's a strategy that can be developed.
Kind of like with Tide. You can have a strategy with how those tiles play out.
And how you play those. With this, it's random enough that like kids are going to beat you some, which is great. And sometimes you're just going to get really lousy snake pieces and you're just going to have to run away and try and make a long straight snake and hope that they don't figure out a way to steal it. I mean, we joke about the unbiased thing. Like this is
solid.
It's hard to not share an opinion about a game like this. So this is a sponsored video. So take our opinion with a grain of salt, but also take our history of how we treat these and just how you value our opinion. If you're watching this, we have really enjoyed this game. It is a great, accessible family game that we have really enjoyed playing. It has come to the table so many times in the last 3 days and will continue to come to the table. Now, one thing about this is a production copy. This is not a prototype. This is a production from a small run that they did, which means that they have copies available that you can get by Christmas. So there's a Kickstarter tier that guarantees delivery by Christmas of 2022. If you're watching this in 2023, I'm sure you can get it by Christmas of 2023.
Oh, I hope so. Yes. I want to see this.
I hope this game is out, is widely available.
So
it is accessible. Just, again, the production quality, the design, everything. It has that like retro modern feel. It's so well designed.
The Hitler, what was the?
It's like it has the feel of like the secret Hitler game.
Yeah, it has a really cool feel to it.
And I do need to say the tiles, for as much abuse as they get, being in a bag, being shuffled around, they do scratch up because they're plastic. But none of the printing has come off. Some were stuck together because they were shrink wrapped and packaged together. None of the printing has come off. None of it is peeled. But again, there is a tier for this game that has delivery by Christmas of this year. So if you want to get this game for the holidays to play with your family, you can. We'll leave links below to where you can find that, to where you can find more about the game. Again, this is Snakes of Wrath from Young Jerks. not a statement on the people that made it. That's the name of their company.
That's the name of the company.
So, but yeah, we have had a lot of fun playing it. I hope you are able to try it too, because it is just a fantastic game.
Yeah, I think that's
Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.